So I wanted to talk about a little about things that were bothering me uh, all the way from the past and things like that. People that have hurt me and things that I should let go of. There's several ways, of course, you can process that correctly and not hold on to it. One of the best ways that I learned is to write a letter to them. You're not going to send it to them, you're just going to write it down like a letter and telling them how much, how painful it was. So you just, you see that? Dear so and so, then you're going to write the letter to them. And it's real painful to have to remember all that, uh, especially if they're like in my other video, it was from my childhood with my mom, my biological father, and just other people that I had issues with. Uh, I uh, just basically wrote down what had happened, and once you're finished writing it, you're gonna take it outside, tear it out of the tablet, and take it outside and crumble it up. And like some people put it in a barbecue grill, or I don't have one, so I just set it on the ground outside, and you burn it. Well, actually, you pray on it first. You pray to your higher power, whatever faith you have, and what you're doing is you're gonna allow your higher power to, your faith, your God, Jesus, whomever, to um, to take care of it for you. Um, it's just so it's confidential and no one needs to know if you don't really want to tell anyone. So you burn it, and then watch the smoke go up into the air, knowing that your faith in God, Jesus, is gonna take care of it. I go with my Hopi belief, so I pray in that way, and just watch it go up. Just um, just seeing it, envisioning um, my faith that He's grabbing it from up above, so He can take care of it for you, and then that's simple part is just to burn it. And then if, like, say later on, if it's still bothering you, you might want to do it again. um, I did mine 3 separate times, but I did one to my mom, and I wrote a letter to my godfather who's not around, my biological father also, and just other people that I had issues with way in the past. Um, so those are several letters that I took care of on my own. Some people keep a journal, they write it all down. The more you write your stuff down, the you're letting it out of your system and you're not holding on to it anymore. But be careful, because if it's something really sensitive, you don't want anyone to find that journal. If you, like me, I've seen several um, videos on it, even in the movies, of what it did to the person. And yeah, of course, they'll find it after the person passes away, and then by then they're it's a part of grief that they go through, not knowing what had happened with that person. It does. It's a really good way to relieve yourself of all these issues of holding on to all this junk. All this stuff is piling up inside of us, rotting, and we're rotting along with it. Our lives become rotten. Everything, it just slowly falls apart. And if you have children, you end up behaving like that around them, and they learn from it. Everything you say, everything you do in front of them, they watch you, they mimic you later on, and they like do they'll act like you somewhere else when you're not watching. So be careful what you do in front of your children. They're listening to the music you're listening to. They're watching the shows that you watch, things like that. Every they're watching your every move of how you do things, and they'll follow you around. Of course, they tag along with you wherever you go. So how you treat others, how you talk to them, road rage, the way you behave when someone cuts you off or pisses you off when you're in the car. Of course, they'll end up hearing all the things that you say to the other person, and they also learn from whoever they hang out with, and wherever they're, like, say if they go to their house to spend the night with their friends, you don't you don't know what's going on over there. You don't know what their friends are watching or doing, and they end up learning from that, like the TikTok, all those challenges that they have on there. It's stupid, and that just influences their mind, and it clouds their vision from what you want them to learn. It's hard to keep them from dangerous things like that. We have no control over what can happen to our children, let alone us. That's one thing that I had a hard time with. So we can only control ourselves. Once I changed my lifestyle from all that alcohol and drugs, everything started changing. It didn't, of course, it doesn't happen overnight, but I've been clean and sober for 11 years and 5 months now, a little over 5 months. So it took a while for people to understand the way I am now. I don't go around acting like I'm all it. I just be myself. And if someone has an issue or a problem, then I tell them how I took care of it on my own. There's no help out here, really. It's the behavioral health. They breach my confidentiality, and it was. I got really suicidal for a long time from different things from that place, and those people are still there. The ones that breach my confidentiality. I kept trying to report them, but you write a grievance letter and it goes right to their boss, and their boss is one of the worst ones. They're not even qualified. They it probably I'm assuming that it just goes right into the shredder. It doesn't go anywhere else because it's once again it's being it's the whole I think the whole Hopi healthcare was given to the Hopi tribe, and that's even worse because they don't do anything for us. I don't know. The like I say, ever since I was 7 years old, I mean, since I was a little boy, I was told all different kinds of stories of what they were already doing back then. So if there's any of you out there that are still giving donations to the Hopi people, don't give them to the leaders because we'll never see it. They keep it for themselves, or they'll turn around and sell it to us. So I don't know. There's these non-profit organizations out here, and I thought they were people that help others in need, but yet they're they're asking us to donate, and I don't have anything to donate really. I have some jewelry, yeah, but I need that for myself to the income from that. But lately I haven't been making anything. My silver got stolen along with a bunch of other stuff that I had that I needed. So I'm gonna have to replace all that stuff yet whenever I get any income going, which is gonna be hard because I have to work on my physical therapy to walk again on this foot. Excuse me. So my mom and them, my grandmother, um, they didn't put her in like one of those convalescent or whatever the old folks where they stay at. They watched her because I think her income was too high and she didn't have like tribal act or state access. So they watched her all along till she passed on. She made it up to like a hundred years and 9 months. I think she died on Veterans Day, and they had wheelchairs that she was using. She rarely used them though. I mean, then she was still walking. We just like hold on to her and she would walk. She all she had was a cane, and sometimes she would come walking in with the cane on her arm. And I was really surprised at her because she was still up and around, unlike other elders that are way younger than her and they can't even walk. And so I was really amazed at how she was still able to do that. And she has a younger relative, one of our uncles, who's like 90. I think he's 92. We just saw him last week, I think, and he's still walking too. He drives himself around. He's a he's a rancher, so he goes out and takes care of his cows and things like that. I'm sure he's not alone, but dang, he don't even look that old. He's really up there, and he's still getting around. And there's people way younger than him that are in wheelchairs and things like that, other issues. And I guess it's just because of the way we take care of our bodies, eating a healthy diet and things like that. You can go a long ways. A lot of these people, these alcoholics, addicts out here, um, their sons and daughters died from alcohol and drugs, and the parents have been drinking longer than them, and they're still alive. And I learned that the reason why is because when their parents were younger, they ate natural Hopi food, unlike the processed food we eat today. So the children grew up with all this white man food, and they all died real young from the alcohol because their bodies weren't nourished like their parents were. So that's what really surprised me, was that a lot of these people, they're still drinking. They're way older than me, and they're still up and around. They're still drinking. So it's all from the food that they ate long time ago. And the Hopis used to be like 4 feet tall. I remember we used to play in this real old house near our plaza house in the women's plaza. They have their own plaza, and it used to be like 3 4 stories, and the rooms were real small. The floors were real short. You had to crawl in there and bend over just to go from level to level. And the ladders and things like that were pretty much real small too. It was neat the way it was built. The floors were real thick, and yeah, it stayed up for a long time till it got unstable, and they just had to tear it down. But I heard that the people that used to live in there, um, they died, and I don't know if it's true, but they say that some of those kids and people are still buried way deep inside that house because they died of smallpox. And I don't know, maybe they got scared to touch them or whatever, and they just, I don't know, it just crushed in on them or something, because I'm sure it went down lower into the ground. And yeah, you're not supposed to wander in there or dig it up or anything like that. And there's a part of it that was still standing. This little old lady, my great grandmother's neighbor, she used to live there. She was really, really small, little tiny 4 foot grandmother of ours. And I would go over and check on her every now and then when I was real young and help her with her water and things like that. I barely remember those days of talking with her, just a little, but she was a really nice little lady. I miss those days. I always hung out over there. I don't really remember much of my young childhood here at the house. I always wandered all over there. My mom used to tell me that I would walk from here with just my bluebird flower. Back then they didn't really have any diapers, so they would put that on you like a diaper. The flour sacks. I would just wear that, no shoes, no shirt, and wander off into the village when I was real small. Because back then it was real safe. It never had any problems with what we do nowadays. So, but anyway, yeah, with my grandma, I guess they had wheelchairs for her over at my one of my aunts, and of course the kids got to it and they ripped one of the wheels off, so I couldn't use it. But my other aunt, my mom's other sister, she had one, and it's a real nice wheelchair. So that's what I'm sitting on right now. So I'm sure it was real expensive. I don't know if you could see it, but I don't really have much lighting in here. You can't see it. Anyway, it it was the perfect wheelchair because it came with this foot thingy. Right down where I needed it in my left foot. The side I needed the most is there because most wheelchairs don't have the leg part to it to rest your legs on it. You see all those people in the city just scooting around on their wheelchairs with no leg rest on it. So I was real fortunate. Today my little niece rolled it in for me with my sister, my younger sister. They've been taking care of me all this time. And I'm starting to like not really put any pressure or stand on it. I can't do that just yet. It still hurts where they did the incision. They I guess I don't know how they did it, but they cut the whatever that tendon or whatever for the plantar fasciitis under my foot, and then must have cut off that bone spur. So it still hurts. I took some pain meds 2 weeks before it. I stretched it out. I don't take it as much. I can take a lot of pain, and that's another thing is you know how a lot of this pain meds can become habitual. You get addicted to it. A while back, this doctor was giving them to me, and I noticed how I was behaving. It got me really irritable, and once again, I was out there lashing at people, and just because I wanted to kill the pain and stuff, I started to like that high, and I got scared, so I just discontinued. Um, that guy left, and Hopi Healthcare stopped giving it to me. But then later on, um, this other person found out that I was taking that, and she was trying to buy it from me. And I told her I don't even get them no more, and she thought I was lying to her. And I said I don't even take meds like you do. I said I just endure the pain as much as you know. That's why I don't really overdo myself. But she was addicted to it, and you could tell because of their behavior. You can easily tell when they're on it. You can easily tell when they're withdrawing from it. and all the way they behave, the way they talk, things like that, the things they do is really weird. So I I'd stop doing that. So in a way, I guess I might have relapsed for a short time. For 3 months, I was taking that, and but now, um, with this type of pain, my kidney stones. Oh God, that's another thing that's real painful. They gave me tramadol for it. I don't really like this hydrocodone stuff. I'm not really supposed to take it with my psych meds because it affects my liver. But I started taking tramadol, and that helps a lot for me. Some people get sick from it, nauseated and stuff, but I don't take it. I only take it like they only give me like maybe 6 or 7 pills. That's it. Then I have to write it out the after the surgery. Um, but they just zapped it with a laser or whatever, so it wasn't that bad after the surgery. Just that they had put in these stents inside of me for a whole month after the surgery. And I didn't know what it was until they yanked it out of me. They were like that long, almost like those coat hangers that the little baby clothing are hung on the wires. They're like a whole, almost maybe a foot long. He just yanked it out from you know where. No anesthesia, nothing. I didn't know what the hell he was doing. He just ripped it out. And his arm went way back like that too, and he yanked it out. I guess probably to follow through to make sure he pulls it all the way out. And then I was like, it hurt. So I was like, ah, and and then I thought he was done, and he goes, okay, there's one more yet. He said, he didn't tell me that there was two of them. So I had to brace myself for that second one, and at least knew what to expect then. So I gave him about maybe a minute to catch my breath and brace for the next one, and same thing, he yanked it out like nothing, and no pain meds for it either afterwards. And I had to ride in a transport all the way from Tucson to here. That's probably over 400 miles. It's a long ride with that kind of pain. It's excruciating, especially when you don't have any pain meds. They didn't give me nothing. So when I got home, I I tried to write it out, but it was still hurting, and so I went down to the Hopi Healthcare down here, and they gave me like 5, 6 pills, that tramadol. But of course, I stretched it out. I didn't really take it every day or like twice a day. Right now, I have hydrocodone, and I didn't take any today. I took some yesterday when I got home. I'm losing track of the days, but anyway, um, so these are just different things that I deal with every day. I one of the things that I know that really hit me hard was one time me and my brother, he was staying with his ex-girlfriend way out this area, way out off the right off the near Hopi border, place called Tisto. It's like 40 miles from here, and he stayed out there with his girlfriend, and he didn't want to be alone out there. So I would go out there and stay with him. And I ended up dating her younger sister, and of course we were still drinking back then. One time we went into Winslow, and I didn't have a driver's license. I ended up asking a friend of mine, one of my relatives from here, from the village, and I had no idea. I hadn't seen him for a long time. I just knew that he was staying there. So we went to his place, and he had a baby. Him and his girlfriend must have had a baby, and so my ex-girlfriend stayed behind. We went to the store and bought some bottles of tequila, and um, it was my ex-girlfriend's sister's birthday, so they wanted to celebrate for her. So I went over there, bought the bottles, came back. He rolled a joint, and we went outside and smoked it in the back. And I don't know. Then he told me that his birthday was the next day, and I said, "Well, pop one of those bottles open for the birthday boy," I said. So we opened up one of the bottles and poured out. I poured out a shot and cut some lemons up and took two shots. I gave him two shots, and he was one of those types that they call a lightweight. He gets drunk real easy. Well, as soon as we took those shots, we went back into the living room, and I was holding the baby and stuff, just welcoming the baby into the world in the Hopi way, and just talking to him. I think, I'm not sure. This was a long time ago, and then he's rolling another joint, and this time with the alcohol in his system, he just lit up right there in the living room. And I said, "Oh man, let's go outside," I said. By then it was already too late because he was already smoking it. And so I put the baby back in the crib, and I was still putting the baby in there, and the mother comes walking in. I guess she had night school. She had just came home from school. She was pissed off. I usually she's always happy to see us, and I got real scared, and they started arguing. I went into the kitchen and I just grabbed that bottle and wiped up everything, put all the shot glasses away. I cleaned them out and wiped them down. And then I told my ex-girlfriend, "Let's get out of here," I said. And then, so I went back in, and he was like pushing her into the bedroom, and I grabbed him by the arm and I told him to, "Don't do that, just settle down, calm down, man. Don't argue with her." And she just turned around and slammed the door on him. And I told him, just let it be, man. Just let her be. I guess maybe we shouldn't have even done this, I said, but it's already too late. I just, we gotta go, I was telling him. So we turned around, or I did, I turned around and went outside and was getting in the car, and he came out after me, and he goes, "You guys come back. I'm gonna have a big cookout for my birthday tomorrow." I said, "All right, we'll be back." So we left, went back to Tisto. Tisto's probably about another 40, maybe 35 miles from Winslow. So we went back. We drank both bottles that night. And of course, I had a hangover that next day. We all did. And so we drove back towards Winslow, and about maybe 10, 15 miles out of Winslow, there's a place called Borderland where these white folks sell liquor, and it's easier for us natives to go over there and buy it without having to go all the way into town. It's just a building all by itself. They used to have a gas station there, but they didn't sell any hard liquor. It was just beer and wine. we only made it that far, and I just decided to buy beer instead. And we were leaving from there, and my ex-girlfriend said, "Hey, remember Larry's cookout?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. Should we go?" And I was like, "Oh man, I don't know. His old lady's probably pissed off yet." So we just decided not to, because I was too chicken shit to go face her. So we went back, and later on the evening, my mom showed up, and she was hysterical. I was wondering what was wrong with her, and she told me one of your friends died. And I said, "Who?" And she told me who it was. It was my friend that we had saw that night. I guess he had left from there. After we left, he he went bar hopping and ended up with somebody else, and they wrecked later on that night behind Walmart in Winslow, and they both got ejected, and that's how they. I don't. We don't even know who the other guy was. Some Navajo that he ended up with at a bar, and he died on his birthday that night. I'm not sure if it was midnight or what, but yeah, it was during his birthday, and that hit me hard. I took it personal. I took it upon myself that it was my fault. Maybe if we didn't go over there, he'd still be alive. I kept doing that to myself. So we came home that morning or that evening. That evening we came home, and that next morning we put him away. And yeah, I had to face his mom and his girlfriend, and I'm sure she told them what had happened. But once again, I was too chicken shit to say anything. I didn't know how to go about it. Maybe it was safer that way for now. I don't know. I just didn't know what to do. I, I got. We left from there and went back to Tisto, and then my brother and them took a shower and they left. They play volleyball, so they went to go practice with their team. So I was left all alone again behind. I don't can't play, so I took a shower, and of course you don't learn from these things. You're an alcoholic, you just drink. I just grabbed a beer and lit up a joint and was sitting in the living room. And then here comes this ranger come pulling up, and I was like, "Oh shit, I'm going to jail." Because that's still illegal. We were on the Hopi Res, so it was illegal. And he came knocking at the door. I didn't care. I just, oh, fuck it. So I answered, and he was asking for my brother and me. And he told me, "Your family wants you back home." And I said, "Why?" He said, "There's been a death in your family." And I said, "I know. We just put him away this morning." And he said, "No, your family." And that's what really scared me. I said, "Who?" He said, "Oh, I don't know. They don't say the names over the airwaves, so they just send me out to tell you guys to go home." So I said, "I don't have a car. They left. They're not here right now. I don't know how to get out there." I said, he said, "I'll take you." And so I jumped in with him, and he brought me home. And when I came here to the house, there was nobody here. So I just climbed in through the window. Usually we don't have locked windows, so I just climbed in, and it was during the winter. It was cold, so I just didn't wait outside. And a little while later, then my mom and them showed up, and she said they found my uncle next door, frozen, and he died from alcohol too. So we ended up putting him away the next day. So two people. here in the village from alcohol. And he was one of my most favorite uncles too. So we lost two family members in our village. When something like that happens here in the village, the whole village gets hit because we're one huge family. We all take care of each other's. We try to. It's kind of ripped apart now with the way people treat each other's. But back then, everybody took care of each other's, and it hits you hard. Alcohol rips everything up. It just tears your life apart. Oh God, I was suicidal for a long time. I, I finally had the balls to go over there to tell his mom what really happened, what I really did, my part. I broke down hard and told her the truth. I was still buzzed yet, and I was walking out the door after I got done telling her, and his brother was there too, his older brother, and he said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I don't know, I'm just gonna go jump off the cliff," I said. He just got up and he grabbed me by the arm and he just yanked me back in. He said, don't fucking do that," he said. "You stay here. I'm not gonna let you go anywhere. You just stay here." And he just held on to me and he sat me down in a chair and stood in front of me. So I just sat there crying, and we all did. His mom was talking to me all day, and more or less I sobered up over there. And later on that evening, she cooked for us and we all ate together. They made sure that I didn't leave from there. They sobered me up over there. And they finally let me go home that night. And she said, "You go straight home now. Don't be doing anything crazy." When he had pulled me in, he just yelled at me. He said, "You weren't there. You didn't do this to him. He wasn't man enough to stay around and take care of his baby. He took off from there. You weren't there. You're not the one who killed him. He did it to himself." That's what he said to me. So you better cut this shit out. So ever since then, I came home and I thought about it for a long time. I didn't drink for a long time. Of course, there's no help out here. I tried to deal with it, but I didn't know how. So I started drinking again later on. Something else happened. So that's just how my life was back then. I kept relapsing. So one of the letters was about him too. And I still need to write more yet and get rid of those. It takes a long time, man. I mean, I've been like this for over 35 years. And there's a lot of shit I gotta take care of yet. I just started. I'm only 11 years old. That's how I see it. Because I'm learning how to live all over again. And it's hard, man. Every single day something happens. And it starts all over again. It reminds me of all the things that I did wrong a long time ago. And that's another thing too that you need to do is write a letter, write it all down, all the things you did wrong, everything. And then you're supposed to tell someone you can trust, a sponsor from an AA meeting, someone you don't know, someone who doesn't know you, so you're not talked about, someone that can keep it confidential. You tell them, you tell God, you tell your higher power. You read it out loud to them. And that's another way you can let go of those things that you did wrong to other people and to yourself. All the things that I ripped off and things like that. Cars that I wrecked. People that I hurt. Because we beat ourselves up with that. We use that as an excuse to drink and drug. And that's just more garbage inside of us, all this shit that's rotting. And I still have a lot inside of me that I need to get rid of. It's hard, man, but it can be done. It can be done. It takes time, but do it the right way, man. Don't go back to drinking or drugging. It's not good, especially if you have kids. They're the ones who get hurt the most. So this is somewhat a long video. Um, I'll do another one probably tomorrow night. I slept all day, so I'll probably just watch movies. I love metal music, classic rock, just all kinds of music now. So I downloaded a live video of Korn and Alice in Chains. Lane Staley was only what, like 80, 89 pounds when he died. And he's like 6 foot, I think, from Alice in Chains. I think he died from heroin. I'm not sure, but yeah, I downloaded one of his videos when he was that skinny, and you can tell he's just real weak. He just barely walked out on stage. He could still sing, yeah, but damn, man, he was on his way. He was holding the nails in his hand for his coffin, so to speak. Fuck it, I felt bad. I was still drinking when he died, so I didn't really know much about what had happened. Now I cried for them because I love their music. I grew up part of my life with their music. We cover some of their songs. Judas Priest. This is an old shirt that I found. I went to this concert back in 1984. I was still in high school yet, down in Phoenix. So, but here's my here's my Gmail and my phone number. Leave a message if you call me. I don't have a phone no more. All I all I use is this little cheap old flip phone. I don't have a normal cell phone anymore. I threw it away. I got tired of it. No more social media, nothing like that. This all I have is a tablet now, and all I use is YouTube. So hang on. I I'm gonna have to do another short video of it, of my Gmail and my number, because it's gonna come out backwards. I'm using the camera the other way, and I don't know how to flip it around while I'm recording. It doesn't show up. But give me a few seconds. I'll just do a real short one for that. But take care of yourselves, man. I'll pray for you. And I love you all. Thanks. Bye.